I'm wrestling, do not weep for me. Celebrate what I am. Celebrate what I have been. Celebrate what I represent. And celebrate the many ways I have impacted your life. I will survive this test as I have survived others. I am forever etched into the very fiber of all mankind. The world needs me. Time is on my side. History guarantees me. I am wrestling. Do not wait for me.
What's up, everybody? This is Ben Askren and Tommy Rowlands. This is episode 17 of the T-Row and Funky Show, brought to you as always by Defense Soap. Defend what you have built. Tommy, we're doing this. This is Tuesday during the day. It won't air till Wednesday during the day, but we're both busy, so we had to move it up a little bit. What do you got going on there at the office?
Nothing much, man. Just taking a little lunch hour stroll, talking about some wrestling. Doesn't hurt my feelings at all. It's nice. Nice to get a little breath of fresh air and go over all the events this weekend. We got plenty to talk about. We got Olympic qualifiers, conference championships. There's plenty to discuss, as you know. So
for sure. So I want to hit up two things though that we have kind of repeatedly talked about on this show, and one is the uniforms, and two is promotion of wrestling. So I was smart enough to plan my wife's 30th birthday party surprise, and I had some friends of hers come in from out of town. And while that might seem like a kind thing on my part, it also allowed me to watch a whole lot of wrestling this weekend.
Smart man.
Yep. So anyways, a few of the neighbors are over, and I have a 3-year-old daughter, and they have maybe an 8-year-old girl and a 9-year-old girl. The neighbors are over. Everyone's hanging out, right? And I'm like, but I don't care. I'm freaking watching the Big Ten Finals.
Right.
And so I turn the Big Ten Finals on, and the 8 and the 9-year-old girl were kind of there in the living room, and it comes on, they're like, This isn't what I was thinking of wrestling. And then all of a sudden, then Gilman and, Megaludis and Tom Sutton, they're like, what are they wearing? Oh my God, I can see their butts. And they went on and on and on. And part of me is like, these 8, 9-year-old girls are being super annoying, right?
Right.
But then another part of me is thinking like, wow, this is what people who aren't wrestlers think of our sport.
Yeah.
I mean, this is what 8, 9, 10, 11-year-old girls, when they see wrestling in middle school, that's what they're thinking. And if they're thinking that, the boys are probably thinking something similar, right?
No doubt. It's just an unnecessary hurdle. And that's a great example. People that aren't connected to the sport, they have no reason to kind of put blinders on, so to speak. And that's their reaction. And kids tell the truth more than adults do.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
That's for sure. That's for sure. So I thought that was relevant to the discussion that we've probably had that discussion on a handful of our shows. And I thought that was funny, and it was relevant because we were just sitting there in the living room. I'm trying to watch my finals, like, oh my God, I can see his butt. What is he wearing? That is so weird.
So what's the deal in Wisconsin? And didn't something happen during the state tournament in one of the association meetings? They're making a push.
Yeah, so I think the WWCA, which is the Wisconsin Wrestling Coaches Association, is taking it to the national board to make singlet and compression top an official uniform. And I got a quote from the president who I know, and I sent that to Flo, and I think they're putting together some kind of article about it. And hopefully some other states take the lead there and they get going.
Well, we need to get that critical mass to subscribe to the thought process. But I still have yet to hear a good reason as to why it's not worth a shot. There's nothing negative that can come of it, in my opinion. So why not give it a shot? There's plenty of naysayers as to, it won't matter. It won't increase participation. And although I do disagree with that opinion, even if they're right, what's the harm in making a transition and seeing what could come of it? And that's the whole reason why I'm like, what we've got to make a more concerted effort to push for this.
100%. Okay, so that's our singlet bashing for the day. So let me get one on promotional wrestling. I didn't have this on my mind at all. But I was on the Wisconsin Wrestling, WIWrestling.com. I was on the forum today. And I look, and there's this post by this guy, Brady C. And I think I know who it is, but I'm not, it's kind of a private name. So I'm not sure for sure. Anyway, so he said the topic is Pan-Am Qualifier. He said, I have abided by my rule He wants to wait 24 hours before he posts anything, so it's not like in the emotion, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to read some quotes from
You should take some of that advice, Ben.
You got to hit. I think you got to strike when the iron's hot. You know? So, anyways, he says, "Hey, I moved to Frisco, Texas. I live 5 miles from where this event was. I wanted to go. I love high-level wrestling. Blah 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 blah." So he said, prior to the tournament, maybe 3 weeks in advance, I searched for information online regarding start times and how to buy tickets. I couldn't find anything. So I waited till USA Wrestling finally posted a schedule about 2 weeks out and then tried to shuffle my schedule until I found out exactly when and where the tournament took place. So at the Sunday, I started my drive and realized I was not sure where the tournament was being held. I stopped. I thought it was a Dr. Pepper Arena, but I decided to Google to verify it. I was certain it was in USA Wrestling press release, had on the location, but I couldn't find anything. And he says, this is pretty funny. I'm a pretty skilled internet user, but if I can't find something, I'm pretty sure others can't either. Blah, 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 blah. He goes on and on and on. Yeah, but, this is pretty relevant. Okay, let me find this. There's a couple funny sentences. I saw the wrestlers, coaches, girlfriends and wives, referees and table workers. What I did not see were fans. I actually eventually did find one, a guy from Allen, Texas that came to watch, but that's it. I can verify for certain there were 2 fans in attendance for the Greco morning session at the Pan-Am Olympic Qualifier. 2 fans. Honestly, maybe there were 10 tops. And then he goes on to say every wrestling team in the area has, every high school has wrestling. Why aren't people here? That's crazy, right, though? I mean...
Yeah, this is where, Ben, you and I maybe aren't... I agree. I mean, no one's going to say that that's good. No one's going to say that but I mean, what is the solution? How do you get people charged up about something when the car is in neutral right now with the Olympic qualifier? With all of,
Well, I think his point, the point that this guy, Brady, I believe is, that's his name. I think the point he was trying to make is literally this is the biggest tournament on the continent right now. I mean, this is an Olympic qualifier. This is a big freaking deal, not a small deal.
No, it's not. Yeah, exactly. I mean, you got the 1%ers in wrestling, the 1% of the wrestling fan base, me, you, others. I mean, we were watching that event very, very intently. I was following it. I was refreshing my Twitter every 20 seconds at a trade show that I was at. So there's no doubt that, but how do you get that critical mass to care about that event?
Tommy, I'll tell you, because remember, so I was part of the original Aegon, and then I was also part of Full Premier League's first event, first season. No, we're on pause now. I don't know if we're done forever. We'll see. I love wrestling, so I'm gonna try again. I'm not a quitter.
Right.
But I mean, Tommy, 2 times, right? We had pro events, and we had 5 matches, which meant nothing. It wasn't like you qualify for the Olympics here, right? Mm-hmm. It's just like we're gonna wrestle, we're gonna see who wins. One of us is gonna win, one of us is gonna lose. It's gonna be a lot of fun, right?
Right.
And through sheer effort, because there's no story besides we want to get there and scrap. We had 1,000 people in the gym, both years.
Yep.
Both years. And I'll tell you what, I spent a lot of time on the phones to high schools. I spent a lot of time emailing people. I spent a decent amount of money on social media, advertising. And if I can get 1,000 people in the gym for 5 matches that don't really have any real meaning, right?
Right.
Now we're talking something that qualifies you for the Olympics, which is the pinnacle of wrestling in the whole world, the biggest event. It only happens every 4 years.
You sold me, man.
And you got 10 fans.
I'm with you.
I'll get 10 of my friends to come from Wisconsin if you paid me.
I'm with you. Okay. And what could make the job easier, though, is back to our Jordan Burroughs episode, is what if we were wrestling that style? How much more would we indirectly be fans or have some fervor for what's going on because we understand it as a wrestling community? For example, if Texas had been wrestling freestyle, let's say we started this rule 6 years ago, and these kids who were 6 are now 13, they're wrestling freestyle, and there's an Olympic qualifier in their backyard. I think intuitively that the crowd would be better at that event.
But that's you don't need intuitive sometimes. You know what you need? You need to freaking bring it. That's what you need to do. You got to get your butt on the phone. You got to call. You got to call. You got to call. You got to
Smile and dial, Ben. You said,
that's
I think
a good phrase. I never heard that. Smile and dial.
I'm in sales, man. I got all the jingles, but
Smile and dial. That's a good one. I'm going to use that, Tommy.
I think in our first ever episode, you made a comment to me that I know is true, but I never really captured the way you said. You said, I'm always selling. I have to be selling. I'm in the wrestling academy business, wrestling camp business. Doesn't matter what I'm doing, I'm always selling. And I think that, that's what you're saying is that we've got to be selling. Always be selling.
Always.
Yep.
And I mean, Tommy, think about this. I come back 1,000 people in the gym for an event that has no meaning. Even if, say you're USA Wrestling and say, I don't have time for this, which is shenanigans. Ben? Yeah, can you hear me? Hello?
It broke up for a second, but you got me?
Okay, I got you.
Are we recording?
We're good.
Okay, good. Sorry.
So, if you're USA Wrestling and you don't want to spend the effort to promote this event, right?
Right.
Which is crazy because it's one of the biggest is the Pan-Am Championships, right? It's a large event. Go find a couple of highly influential high school coaches and say, hey, I'll give you a cut of this. You sell tickets. We'll give you a percentage as a fundraiser for your team. Tell me if you found 3 highly influential coaches that they're not going to get a couple hundred people each.
There's nothing you're saying that I don't think wouldn't work.
Yeah. So highly disappointing. I'm just disappointed. We need to promote our sport. I mean, bottom line, we just had a program Grand Canyon dropped, and I don't know that that's because of the lack of the people in their stands. But I'll tell you, if they had 6,000 people in their stands for every event, their program probably wouldn't be gone right now.
No doubt. I mean, I'm with you, man. It's you got to admit though, Ben, it's a lot easier said than done.
Well, Tommy, I always use this saying with my kids: nothing in life that's easy is really worth doing, right? Like listen, Tommy, you got $1 in your pocket, you can go buy a Big Mac, right? But anyone can go buy a Big Mac, they can find 99 cents, right? But the things that are really hard to do, the things that really take effort, not everybody can get those things. Everybody can get a Big Mac, but everyone can't go get state titles, right? Everyone can't build great organizations. Everyone can't build huge spectator sports. It takes a lot of effort. So
you're on fire today. I'm drinking the Ben Askren Kool-Aid today, man. I'm telling you what,
well,
I really am. I don't give you credit every episode, but I'm drinking the Askren Kool-Aid today.
I will. You know what?
You're pumping me up, man. I gotta go running or something.
You got to go sell. We got to sell. I hope that if the Olympic team trials isn't sold out, and I won't be buying a ticket because I'll be in freaking Asia, unfortunately. But I'll be disappointed because that is like the penultimate event of every 4 years in America.
Yeah, the Olympic trials, we're not going to have a problem there.
I don't know. I just, I had a conversation with Rich Bender about this, and
he's coming on after Nationals and before the World Cup.
Good. And, I said, I was there in 2012, and I don't think it was sold out. I always remember open seats. And he said technically it was a sellout, but I tried finding pictures where it looked even like, say, 80% full, and I couldn't find any pictures online of what appeared to be a sellout.
Well, I was an athlete at that event, and so I wasn't totally in touch with all those details. But walking out in the arena, it certainly felt like a heck of an environment. I mean, it might not have been sold out, but I was like, man, this is awesome. You don't get this internet. This is the last time I felt this way in the United States. I was wrestling in the national NCAA tournament. Nice. You know what I mean?
Yeah, great. So, okay, so let's go to the results, because actually the results from the Pan Ams have a lot to do with what's going to happen at the Olympic team trials. And we, as a country, I don't think this happened in 2012. I know in 2008 it was 60 kilograms. But currently we have 2 weights which have not been qualified, 65 kilos and 86 kilos, and they have 2 chances.
Which is a third of the Olympic weights.
Yeah, which is sad.
You know what I mean? I mean, we got a third of our Olympic team that we've got 2/3 of an Olympic team right now. So this is like mission critical, red alert type stuff. And even though it's not good news, it's relevant news. It's things that should be discussed in wrestling. We've got to get this done. We've got to field 100% of the freestyle team. This has to happen. And so anyways, I didn't mean to vent there, but this is a big deal. This is a big freaking deal.
Yeah, could you imagine if if whoever wins the 65 kilo bracket, right? And we've talked about
which is just a meat grinder in the U.S. Yeah.
Okay, listen, when they win that bracket on April 10th or April 9th or whichever day it is, or April 11th,
they're not on the team yet.
They're not on the Olympic team. They aren't.
Yeah.
That's freaking Tommy. That's crazy.
It is crazy. It's absolutely nuts.
It's nuts. So
and they've got to go to some far-flung places to get this done.
So Googling like this guy on WIWrestling.com on his comment. Stuff's hard to find on the internet, right? So when I can't find something really easily, I go to Jason Bryant, and I did get a text from him. So they have 2 events left. They have Mongolia, which is April 22 to 24, and they have Istanbul, which is May 6th to 8th. So, Tommy, that's literally less than 2 weeks after the Olympic team trials. They got to be in Mongolia ready to wrestle.
Yeah, and the other thing is the Olympic got the guy who wins the trials, right?
Yeah,
he's going to be the most motivated to go get that done. I mean, it's going to be hard to put somebody other than him in that event 2 weeks later.
Yeah.
So he's going to win the trials. He's going to, preemptively be excited, but then he's got to basically within days get on a plane and go to
literally days.
And he's got to get on the plane and adjust and acclimate to the time change. He's got to get in some, crazy 1-bedroom, one real small, hotel in Mongolia. He's got to acclimate. He's got to train. He's got to bring training partners. It's mentally, emotionally, and physically exhausting, and it's not going to be easy, man. It is not going to be easy.
Yeah, I mean that's like we said. I'm looking up flights from Chicago to Mongolia right now because I fly to Asia all the time. And what's the largest city in Mongolia? I don't even know. Ulaanbaatar, right?
Ulaanbaatar, I think, is the capital.
Let me see what a flight there is. I bet it's going to be. Let's go April 12th. They lose 2 days. So they want to party. They made the Olympic team, but they didn't really make the Olympic team because, like you said, I got to assume whoever wins it's going to want to take the destiny into their own hands.
He's not going to say, the guy I just beat, who definitely is not going to go to the Olympics if he does his job at this event. Let's send him. I bet he's more motivated than me.
Yeah,
he's going to want to go himself.
Yeah, it's a 24-hour flight or travel between stops and everything. 24 hours.
Right.
Damn, that's rough. And then you got to make weight again. Wow. So this is not easy. But if you argue,
I think there might be. We could be sounding like rookies here, Ben, because I think there might be a rule that it's not the official Olympic team at the trials now. That it's some type of.
It's really difficult to beat the guy who's the number one. You have to meet like a whole bunch of criteria. So I think it's pretty set. I mean, it's maybe not 100%.
Well, we should let's talk more about it like next week. Those specifics because I think there's something going on there. It's just we're.
I'll look it up right now. Qualification. We'll see if we can Google it. U.S. Olympic wrestling team. So anyways, Tommy, so they got 2. So, but here's what I'm thinking. If you're wait, we didn't even talk about results. So, the 3 important weight classes. So, which I didn't know this either. If you're already qualified, if you were already qualified for the Olympics, you couldn't wrestle. So, 74 and 96 for America didn't have a representative.
Which is one of the reasons why it's 2 separate events, Ben. The Pan-Am Championship still doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me, But anyways, that's one of the reasons.
Yeah. Okay, so we have 4 weights essentially. Ramos makes the finals, and he got embarrassed by Bond. I mean, it was bad. It was 10-0, and it really didn't look like Bond was working too hard to make it 10-0. But he did qualify the weight because he made the finals. Let's see. Then you got Metcalf. So Metcalf and Gomez you watched this match, right? It was pretty crazy.
Yeah, he went down 9-0. I mean that if you were looking at it from a critical wrestling, I mean that's the mistake. The mistake wasn't the ref not calling 2 as time expired. The mistake was how do you go down 9-0 when you're trying to, you know what I mean? And I'm not. I love Brent Metcalf, but I'm just saying, nobody would argue, don't go down 9-0. How about that? You know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely. And so one thing. I thought there was a few interesting things in the match. So he's up 9-0. Franklin Gomez is who trains at the Nittany Lion Training Center in Penn State. Also wrestled at Michigan State, but is a representative of Puerto Rico, which is kind of a U.S.
He's Menkel trained.
Oh God, they did not finish last place at the Big
I'm
Ten.
just saying I know we can go on that, but he's Minkle trained.
Okay, Minkle trained. So he's up 9-0, and he shoots in kind of lazily, like, hey, I'm just gonna finish this off here, and he gets thrown for 4, and then gets taken down. I mean, almost right after that. Now it's 9-6, and it's a match. Like, wow, that was a brave start on his part.
Yeah,
and then they gave that fleeing the hold point without the 30-second shot clock, which I thought you had to do the 30-second shot clock.
Yeah, I mean,
didn't you?
Yeah, it's just a lot of things, and then the granddaddy ball not calling the takedown.
Yeah, so
I mean, you thought it was a takedown, right?
Yeah, like I told you originally, I was actually driving to my mom's house watching the match. I hope I don't get arrested for this, but I was watching the match while I'm driving. Not safe. My wife will probably yell at me.
Yeah, my wife loves it.
I got to my mom's house, and I think my phone tried to connect to the internet there, and it stopped with they're in this scramble with 16 seconds left. So I didn't get to watch it live. So it was very frustrating to say the least.
Right. Crazy, man. Yeah, it was brutal. It was tough.
It was brutal. So I could have seen him calling too. I probably would have leaned towards it too. But yeah, like you said, you can't put yourself down 9-0.
No, that was the mistake. Yeah. And then there's a lot of other ways that, coulda, shoulda, woulda, but that was the mistake.
That was the mistake. So, okay, 74, we don't have a representative. 86, Jake has solace before the finals. And
this is bittersweet for me.
It was more competitive than it has been recently.
Yeah, because Jake wrestled solace better than he ever has. I mean, if we already had the Olympic team, if we already qualified that weight, that loss, you would say, man, Herbert's wrestling well. Herbert is, clicking going into the trials. That's what you would be saying.
Yeah.
Instead, it's didn't qualify the damn weight.
Yeah, for sure. And so that's another, and that's another one where I mean both these weights, 65 and 86, where the guy Herbert and Metcalf have been mainstays in American wrestling. They've both struggled internationally, and that's where it's if they're the guy, which it's feasible in Iowa City, they're the guy, right? Mm-hmm. And it's as U.S. Wrestling, because obviously whoever makes the team is concerned with, are they going to get to the Olympics or not, right? But it's also a USA Wrestling thing, is our weight going to be qualified or not? So that's where it's do you look to potentially send someone else who's maybe had more success internationally?
Well, we've got to look into these specifics.
I'm reading through it right now.
Because to the point, what if the trials is the guy? He's the guy no matter how the weight class gets qualified.
Okay, wait, here we go. Weight classes are not qualified into the 2000 Olympic Games prior to the Olympic trials. I'm reading right from the form right now. All Olympic weight categories will be contested at 2016 Olympic trials, regardless of whether or not it has been qualified to the Olympic Games. In this case, USA Wrestling would have to qualify the weight category at one of the following World Olympic Games qualifiers: Mongolia or Istanbul. The winner of the Olympic trials wrestling tournament will then compete in the qualifying. Okay, so it's the winner. So that's set there.
He competes in both of them?
He competes. That's what it says right here. If for any reason he is unable to compete, a replacement will be determined. In any case, if the weight category is qualified via the events listed above, the winner of the 2016 Olympic trials will be the USA Wrestling's designee for the Olympics, regardless of who qualifies the weight class. Well, that's really confusing. That's a confusing paragraph there, Tommy, because it says whoever wins the trials has to go to these events, and then it says if the winner of the trials will be the Olympic guy, regardless if he qualifies the weight, but if he's the guy going, he has to be the one qualifying the weight. So that doesn't even make any sense.
Unbelievable.
Wait, am I reading this right? Okay, let me read this to you one more time, because I don't think it makes sense. The winner of the Olympic trials will then compete in the qualifying events listed above, Ulaanbaatar and Istanbul. If for any reason the Olympic trials winner is unable to compete, then they'll send a replacement. In any case, if the weight category is qualified at the events listed above, the winner of the trials will be the USA Wrestling's designee. Okay, so I see what it's saying. It's saying if a replacement guy goes and qualifies because say the winner is hurt, the replacement guy goes and qualifies, the winner of the Olympic trials is the guy.
So does the guy who qualifies the weight get like a suitcase filled with $20,000 or something from the guy who made the team?
Slap on the ass, probably. Slap on the ass and a good job.
Oh, jeez.
Wow.
Wild. It'd be interesting, though, because we all know this, that there's some guys that can make the Olympic team where the 2 or 3 guy does better overseas.
Yeah, and that's happened in a lot of cases. So,
it happens a lot.
And that's like, at 86, we're going to have a handful of really legitimate selections, and we don't know how they're going to, right? If it's going to be Herbert, is it going to be Dake, is it going to be Taylor? Which one competes better overseas? But now it's essentially saying that, right, you have to, whoever wins gets to go unless they're hurt.
Yeah. Basically.
Okay, so that's in the balance. We got anything else about Pan-Ams?
No, I think let's get into the college deal, because after NCAA's, it's all going to be about the Olympic trials all the way through April 9th and 10th. And then afterwards, there's going to be implications. It's going to keep us busy in the off season, which is great. It's great to launch this podcast in an Olympic year because we got plenty to talk about.
Damn, I can't imagine having, in 08 when I made the Olympic team, I can't imagine having to been like 2 days later, pack my shit and go to Ulaanbaatar and make weight again and qualify.
Terrible.
Oh my God. Terrible. Okay. So we got Big Tens, I guess we're going to start with.
Let's do it. Let's go with the greatest conference in America first.
Okay, so now we know that the Big Ten is worse than last year, though, because they have 15 less automatic qualifiers.
Mm-hmm.
Not what they were a few years back when they were at their peak, but still the best currently in America.
I would agree, and traditionally, in any other way you want to mix it, besides your 02 through 07.
That was a good streak. The Big 12 had a streak there where they were.
It was a good streak. It was a good streak, and here, let's tackle this real quick here, Ben. Okay.
Well, no, we already killed you on Twitter, Tommy.
Sure you did. Sure you did. Listen, man. What the Big 12 did 02 through 07 is more impressive than what the Big 10 did, but it doesn't make them a better conference.
Well, why not?
Because it's like saying this, that like what Tim Flynn did last year with Edinburgh's wrestling team is better than what Ohio State did.
Okay. Well, here,
and let me finish though.
Okay.
Let me finish.
Okay.
And you could argue, and I would not argue back passionately, that what Tim Flynn did last year with Edinburgh's program is more impressive than what Ohio State did. You could argue that it's not more impressive, but if you told me it's more impressive what Tim Flynn did with Edinburgh last year than what Tom Ryan did with Ohio State, I wouldn't say you're completely out of line. But Ohio State was better. And so, to me, 02 through 07, what the Big 12 did was clearly more impressive. But the Big 10 was a better conference.
I'll tell you why it was better and why it was tougher. Because at that time period, the qualifying system wasn't like it is today, right? And it was capped. I believe it was 70% was the cap. So like
you guys had 36 out of 50 automatically.
So 72.
72%.
But there was more. Like if it would have been,
you could say the same thing about the Big Ten.
No, if it was under the current system, we would have had like 44 or something.
Big Ten had less. It was 72 with 11 teams at the time. So
yeah,
72,
but 4 of those teams were terrible. But they're terrible. But 4 of those teams were terrible.
Big Ten was a better conference.
The Big 12 was
per capita, more impressive. I give it all to the Big 12.
Okay.
If we had a Big Ten, all-star meet of the top 4 Big Ten wrestlers and the top 4 Big 12 wrestlers.
No, Big 12 would have won. We had more national champs during that time period.
I'm talking about top 4. I'm talking about the top 4. We have more All-Americans every year. Every single year we have more All-Americans.
Twice as many chances.
I agree. I'm with you. Stop. We're still better.
Okay.
We're still better. The reasons why are irrelevant. It's who's better.
No,
Big
you guys
Ten
had
was
a
better.
bunch of chumps.
Well,
it was
we
so
did have
easy
some
to qualify.
chumps. We did have some chumps. We had more studs.
Okay.
Sorry.
And if we would have had more qualification spots, we could have had more All-Americans.
Whatever.
The Big 12 All-American ratio was insane during those time periods. Okay.
There was 27. There was. I still got my notes, buddy.
We have to go. We're on a time constraint today.
Let's go.
Okay, Big 12. Penn State wins, running away, essentially, 25 points. Iowa and Ohio State are 1 point. Iowa wins 127, second place. Ohio State third. Nebraska's a competitive fourth place. Okay, let's go into the individual results. So 25, you got Tomasello over Megaludis, and Megaludis beat Gilman in the semis. What's your takeaway there?
I thought Tomasello, let's just go to the finals first. Tomasello beat Megaludis the same way he beat him in the duel, where he wasn't dominant, but the whole time I thought Tomasello was going to win. I think and so anyways, I feel like strength is the X factor in that deal, because when they get in the positions where you really got to grit your teeth, Tomasello's coming out on top, and I think it's strength.
Yeah, and I put this tweet out about Megaludis.
I agree with you.
In big matches, he is like the most aggressive, non-aggressive person, right? Like, he's always against everybody. He's in these overtime, double overtime matches.
Yes.
Never takes
with Gilman,
risks.
with Tomasello. What's the Illinois kid's
Delgado,
name?
with
Delgado,
with
two-time
all these
NCAA
guys.
champ. All these guys that throw points up like nobody's business.
Yeah, and he wrestles from the knee, and he doesn't attack a lot, but he kind of like, against crappy guys, he attacks hard, but against these better guys, it's just, 1-1, 2-1, overtime, double overtime matches. So,
and the dude's moving. I mean, he's like a hummingbird. But
yeah.
but at the same time, I don't see, all in shots the way that you would see if Tomasello versus Gilman, or Gilman versus a Delgado or something like that.
Yep.
Just my vantage point.
No, I agree 100%. Okay, 33. Clark beats Richards in the finals. This match was atrocious. It was so
Snooze
boring.
fest.
Snooze fest.
Snooze fest.
I was actually talking to Jeremy Spates, who coaches at Southern Illinois, Edwardsville. I actually the freestyle folk style. I like folk style, and I don't mind a tight 4-3 match. But this one was awful. There was no risk being taken.
Well,
there was no offense. I could
agree.
not believe they didn't get called for stalling.
Hey, there was no takedowns at 157, and that match was lights out. I don't want to skip to it, but that was lights out exciting.
Yeah, 100%. It was freaking awesome. And then this match really dropped the ball. But the good match in this one, and I don't know if you caught this, was Clark versus Taylor in the semis.
Did not watch it. I heard about it.
Okay, so Ryan Taylor was 5-7 coming into the Big Tens. He wins his first two matches. And, he was taking Clark down like crazy, but he was just making these stupid mistakes, and then Clark would get a takedown. So it was very back and forth. And
right.
I want to say Clark won 10-9. That match was good. That match was fun. But the finals was a dud.
Snooze fest.
Okay. 41, we got Ashnault whooping up on Gilbon in the finals. Gilbon obviously upset Micah Jordan in the quarters to that's an 8-1. We all said that was, Gilbon's at 8 in the Big Tens is insane. And,
it's the toughest conference in America. So things like that happen.
Oh, gosh.
Anyways, that was heartbreaker. But, Gilbon's was he a 3 or 4-time PA state champ? Big time recruit.
4-time. No, he's big time. He's been an All-American before.
Yeah, it's a terrible quarterfinal for Mick Jordan. And we all knew it could happen. I wouldn't have predicted it, but I knew it was possible.
Yeah, and what's funny? Our buddy C. Piles over on the other podcast on the second place podcast on Full Wrestling, he said if I'm Jimmy Gillibon, he said if I'm Cale Sanderson, I tell Jimmy Gillibon not to shoot against Micah Jordan, because both times he shot in the dual meet, he got taken down, and that Gillibon played real close to the vest, and I believe it was a double overtime win.
Yep,
is what it was. So C. Piles, good job on the coaching. Penn State may have a spot for you on the staff next year.
There we go.
Correct game plan. Okay.
The real highlight in this weight class, though, is Anthony Ashnault. And Rutgers, who got a very positive 5th place, in my opinion, in the tournament, and they're coming on strong. Anthony Ashnault reminds me of a Travis Lee at Cornell, or a Ben Askren at Missouri, or a Koscheck at Edinburgh, where he's the guy with the flag in his hands, leading the charge, making the program relevant. And I give the guy a lot of credit. I liked watching him last year at I think was he 7th last year?
I believe he was 8th, but yeah.
Stud. I like the way he wrestles. By the way, he's a left leg lead, and dominated Gillivan. So that's pretty cool to see a guy like that taking the charge.
Yeah, and then on that note, Rutgers, they qualified 9, and their 25 was in 8th place when 7 qualified. So I mean, literally, Iowa only got 7 through, and Rutgers got 9. So yeah, that's saying a lot about where that program came from.
No doubt. Donnie Pritzlav, baby. And Coach Goodale and a lot of other reasons. But,
yeah,
Donnie's doing a good job since he's been there. So
for sure. Okay, 49, you got Zane over Sorensen.
Dominant. It was dominant.
It was 4-0, but yeah, like you said, it was dominant. I mean, no,
it was this. I'm better.
Yeah, exactly.
So,
no other way to slice that. And Jason Surtis drops all the way to 4th behind Alec Panaleo. So I thought that, that's obviously he was national champ 2 years ago, still having a rough year.
It's Pantaleo, by the way.
Oh, sorry.
Panaleo. It's
Panaleo?
like calling
It
Jaden Cox, Jaden Cox, or something like that. Yeah, 4th place. Yeah, his T-shirts is having a tough go of it this year.
And that'll be interesting to see where he gets seated at the NCAAs because he could be a bracket buster if he's down at 8, 9, or 10 or somewhere in there. It'll be interesting to see where he gets seated because his season record's 13-7. So it'll be very interesting.
Absolutely.
Okay, match of the tournament, as we all knew it was going to be, Isaiah Martinez over Jason Nolf.
The greatest no takedown match I've ever seen.
That's a good way to put it. I guess it was 3-3 with 3 escapes by both people, right?
Yeah.
Wow.
It's the greatest no takedown match I've ever seen. I mean, that was for not getting points. I mean, that was awesome. I mean, those guys were scrapping. And I don't want to steal your thunder because you told me this yesterday, but tell our group what you said about Martinez as the match went on.
Yeah, I just thought I thought it was like, and he looked terrible in the semis against Murphy. I thought it was he was gaining momentum back as the match went on. It was almost like he lost so much confidence in that first Nolf win, right? And we've seen him be very shaky since. I mean, he only beat Tyler Berger it was like 14-11 in the quarters, and then he wins Murphy 5-4 when he tech-fouled Murphy in the second period earlier this year, right?
Right.
And he's very tentative in the first period against Nolf, and then it's almost like as the match goes on, he's gaining more and more confidence, and you started just seeing him turn it up and turn it up and turn it up. And,
it's interesting that you say that, Ben, because if you think about it, and I love Martinez, he's my favorite college wrestler in terms of watching, just exciting to watch. But he, as good as he is, he's kind of a mojo guy. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like he's got this mojo type swagger about him where his game elevates beyond what he's actually capable of. And I think that not having mojo kind of has worked against him, having that loss with Nolf. And it's almost like, to your point, he was getting his mojo back, like Stella was getting her groove back or something. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it'll be interesting to see how he wrestles in the first few rounds of the Nationals with that type of momentum going in. You know what I mean?
100%. Because I thought it was, he had a weird stalling call against him. Just they got pushed out of bounds like really super early in the match. And then I almost thought he was being so aggressive later in the match that Nolf could have got called for stalling. I mean, Imar was just being that aggressive where it really started making Nolf look bad. That was my opinion of it.
Oh yeah. I mean, it was a double OT tiebreaker nail biter. So at this point, I'm still taking Martinez by a nose hair. But to Nolf's defense, 2 months ago, I was saying it's not going to be close.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So Nolf is just a freaking animal.
And then,
what I mean?
Yeah, not to skip the other conferences, but this way everyone's talking about.
Oh yeah.
The seeding at Nationals. Gant's undefeated. Right? Both these guys have one loss. And then technically Ian Miller has a loss, even though it's an injury default. So it's looking like Gant is going to be the number 1 seed. Imar Nolf 2 and 3, and then Miller's going to be at the 4, which puts these guys kind of like it was the Stieber, Rutherford, Port situation a couple years back.
Yeah.
And so
I don't even know if I agree with Gant at the number 1.
But I guess what I've been reading up on a little bit, and they have a set criteria, and it's not opinion based. And since he's the one that's undefeated, he's the number 1. Unless they change their criteria before now and then, he's the number 1. That's what it says.
What's his highest quality win?
He's beat Bruschetta, who's like a 5 or 6. He's beat him twice.
Okay.
So
anything other than that? Is that his only top 10 win?
Well, the other argument that people are making is that Imar no-showed at Midlands, and he showed up and he won, right? And so
that's fair. That's fair. I didn't know that. That's fair.
Yeah, so he can't control that Isaiah didn't show up.
Gotcha.
So, okay, 65. Isaac and Bo. Again, it goes Isaac's way. It was tight right until we got a takedown with a few seconds left, I think, right?
Yeah, it's a nail-biter match, but Isaac's finding a way to get him. But, I'm a Buckeye, so hopefully, we can upend that.
So that's going to be what it's going to be. They're going to be a 2-3 also.
There'll be a 2-3, yeah.
Right?
Obviously, Bo Jordan will be a 3.
Dieringer's the one. There's no one else that could. Daniel Lewis couldn't sneak up in there because he lost to Bo, but he only has like 2 losses. Rashkov obviously lost to Lewis, so he couldn't sneak in there. So yeah, so those guys will be the.
Well, yeah, Isaac's undefeated, so he's got to be the 2, and then Bo's only losses are to the 2. So
yeah, yep, you're right on that. So that's so it's looking like those guys will be in the man. They're gonna have some heat. The next Thanksgiving, they're gonna fight it. Because Bo potentially is going to move up, right? So they won't have to wrestle again.
I think he should. I don't know what that does to the rest of the lineup, but I think he should.
Okay. Yeah, that's definitely. They'll be those guys at 2-3. Okay, 74. Nickel kind of whoops up on everybody. He pins your boy Miles Martin in the semis.
He did, man. And it wasn't even like I was bashing Nickel after the Southern scuffle, but I guess I questioned, the wrestling community anointing him.
Yep.
And I don't think I'm eating crow, but I think I got to eat, maybe like a spoonful of it.
Well, we got 2 weeks. See what happens,
but you're right, Ben, and he's got to do it when it matters. But I will say, against Brunson, against Martin, he was on the attack. He was creating opportunities for himself, as opposed to finding opportunities based on his opponent's actions, and that was the whole discussion after the scuffle. And so I've seen him grow, even though he's just as dominant as he was on the scoreboard. I'm seeing him grow as a wrestler in 2 months, or maybe not grow, but I'm just seeing things that I didn't see at the scuffle. Yeah, the guy's a stud, man.
Yeah,
stud
for sure. So. And he'll be the number 1 seed. It's looking like probably Real Buddha the 2, Ethan Ramos the 3. I don't know. Epperly lost to Ramos again. Butler beat the 8 and the 9, Ottinger and Walters. So Butler could realistically sneak up to the 4 or the 5.
Mm-hmm.
It'd be interesting to see how that weight is seated also. But so it looks like Nickel will have one of those guys in the semis, and then Real Budo and Ramos will be on the opposite side. Okay, let's go 84. You got Sammy.
Let's just skip all the wrestling and talk about this guy's Big Ten interview. Freaking awesome, man. It was so, you know what I love? It was funny regardless, but it was even funnier to me because it's so not Iowa.
Yeah.
On the external. I've roomed with Iowa guys. I've traveled overseas with Iowa guys. I've trained with Iowa guys. I'm friends with Iowa guys. And what you see in these interviews is not what you get. You get normal guys on the inside. Yeah. And it was cool to see Sam Brooks just act like a normal guy. And not even normal, kind of unique, but
yeah,
I love how he didn't even smile. He didn't crack a smile.
Yeah,
kept straight face.
It was a pro wrestling type promo for sure. I mean, he worked that real nice. It was good. I mean, it was a good promo.
My wife, I made my wife watch. She was laughing. She loved it.
She liked it?
Oh yeah, she loved it.
Nice. Okay, so let's go 84. I'm looking at the national rankings. This is a freaking mess. It's a mess. There's no other way to put it. It's a mess. I don't know what to tell you, Tommy.
I think Kenny Court's the number 1 seed is my vote.
Oh, God. Miklas, my guy, dropped the ball. He lost at Max. Gabe Dean's obviously the 1. Dominic Abinator, who was the 2, finished 3rd. He was the 2 nationally, finished 3rd at Big Tens. Zavatsky's having a great year as a freshman. He's 3. Boyd's 4. And then you got Avery and Stauffer and Brooks. I don't know where these guys are. I don't know how the seeding's going to end up. I guess we could see tomorrow.
No idea. No clue.
Seriously. Okay. 97's pretty clear cut. Morgan McIntosh beats Burek. Burek won an overtime match against Farr in the semis.
Mm-hmm.
Anything exciting you want to talk about there?
Just McIntosh looks workmanlike. He looks destined to hang this up other than Jaden. So
Jaden looked good in the MAC finals, but
I like how you called him Jaden. Thank you for that. Thank you for that.
That's so funny. Okay, and then so Kyle Snyder. I mean, I don't want to say it was easy, but it wasn't a nail biter against Adam Kuhn.
No, it kind of went how I thought it would go, and I was very complimentary of Kuhn, and it will remain that way. But Snyder's just a better wrestler, and it showed. And you know what I mean?
Yeah, and you probably feel a little better now because you're not the only heavyweight that Kyle's beat up on.
That's true. That is true.
That's true. And actually, you know what, Tommy? You're going to have a chance in 2 weeks to see if he can take out another 2-time heavyweight NCAA champion. When I want to say it's going to be. Is it the most anticipated match of the tournament?
Yep,
it is. Right?
It's got to be.
It's
got to be.
I would say so. I mean, and
they should have it last for once. Have the heavyweights go last,
and that's rare. And so I think he gets the 2 seed, right?
He's a 2. Yeah, he's a 2. Big Ten champ. Got to win over Kuhn.
Yeah. So you got Gwiz 1, Snyder 2, Walls 3, Kuhn 4. I think that's pretty clear cut.
Yep. I'm taking Snyder 3-2 versus
versus Gwiz.
Yeah. We can talk more about it next week.
Yeah, let's talk about it next week. Okay, man, we are running short because you got to get back to work and I got to get to my workout.
I do got to get back to work, but we can.
5 minutes.
Let's touch on everything else. I mean, there's plenty. I mean, there's a lot more wrestling other than the greatest conference in the world. There's other stuff we got to talk about.
Okay, so let's hit the MAC because that's my favorite conference since Missouri's there, and
that's a pretty good conference now too.
It is. They're tough. They actually, Tommy. I don't want to make you sad, but I think they had a higher percentage of qualifiers per team.
Here we go again, Bernie Sanders. Giving me who's more impressive.
I'm not saying everyone should get them, but they earned them, right? That's what's great about the current system is you earn your qualifiers.
Yep.
And that's what I love about it.
It is. It's the right system.
Okay, let's go fast then. So
I think one thing we got to talk about is you picked 8 Mizzou guys to win it. One of the 2 guys you didn't pick to win it won it.
How crazy is that?
It's wild.
That is freaking wild.
So you graze over here. Let's get the highlights.
So Barlow McGee whoops Dylan Peters. I want to say I called that one in November.
You've been calling that. You've been calling that since before the season started.
Yeah, Peters just you know what? And even in his I want to say it was either his quarter or semi match. He tried we call it the honey badger. Around the back, over the head, taking to the back. He tried that, and the guy knew it was coming. And he did like a cartwheel and almost had Peters on his back, so everyone knows that's what's coming from him. And Barlow was patient and just blast doubled as he came in, so that that was good for Missouri. 133 was wild because the number 1 Mac McGuire and the number 2 Zach Sinnen got freaking knocked out of the winners bracket early, and Austin Eicher came through to beat Corey Keener in the finals, which neither of us expected, obviously.
Right.
Okay, 41, McCarty, and we did our pick'ems, Tommy, and you won 10-9, and this was the way, and this is a tough weight class. So Matt Manley wins in the semifinals, but in that semifinal win, he tweaked his knee, right, and then he toughed it out. He won in overtime, but then I guess the next day he wakes up sore knee and can't wrestle in the finals.
Smart move by Brian Smith.
What?
Smart move.
Yeah, you don't want to hurt yourself. You're qualified. You don't want to hurt yourself even worse than you're already hurt, and you got less than 2 weeks to recover.
It also enabled me to win, so it's an even smarter move.
And, so then you got McCarty over Manley. 49, my guy LaVon Mays, which he injured default of his third match, but he dropped the ball in the semis. He was winning, and he looked like he relaxed with like 4 seconds left, right? And De Palma gets a reversal with 1 second left on the clock to win 6-5. And it's like, you got to lock it down. You got to wrestle the whole match.
Yeah. Wild.
Got to wrestle. So, 157 was, so I actually fell asleep, right? Ian Miller's coming out to the mat against Leon Barnes. I'm tired. I fall asleep. I wake up, they're in this concussion protocol, right? So I probably only slept for 5 minutes or so. And this concussion protocol lasted forever. I mean, Tommy, it was ridiculous. And I was asleep during part of it.
It's eventually people are going to find a way to exploit this as a habit. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, but come on, make the call. Can he wrestle or can he not wrestle? That's all you need. It shouldn't take 15 minutes. It should take a couple minutes. I mean, so Ian Miller goes all the way down to 6th, but obviously, that's his only. I don't know. I think it counts as a loss. It's his only loss of the season. And then Leroy Barnes makes the finals, and then Luke Smith was upset on the other side, who he's ranked fairly high, and Leroy Barnes majors Steyert from Iowa in the finals, and Barnes started the season at 141. How crazy is that?
Crazy.
That's what Brian Smith
does,
baby.
Yeah, that's what he does.
That's what he does. He finds these guys that just. And he finds a way to keep everyone on the program moving forward. So when there's a hole, there's a guy there to step in. I mean, think about how many programs could have a 141-pound backup step in at 57 and win the conference tournament. That's pretty impressive.
Yeah, it's impressive. It's the guy does he gets it done, man.
Gets it done. 65, Daniel Lewis looked great. No risk there. He's probably gonna be the 4 or the 5 at nationals, I'm guessing.
Could be interesting just because of the way that he's competed against Bo Jordan and Derringer.
Yeah.
And I'm sure that, that could be interesting.
It could be very interesting. So, I expect he's if he doesn't get it done this year, he looks really good, man. He's going to get it done in due time. Okay, Blaze Butler. This was a good weight class. Blaze Butler beats Ottinger and Walters, who were ranked like 8-9 in the country. Beats Walters in the semis, beats Ottinger in the finals, gets it done. And he's obviously a transfer from Virginia. And so I guess in his words, he doesn't like the word transfer because he actually graduated from school and he was accepted into the business graduate school at Missouri.
It is a little different. It's a guy that's thinking about his career, looking forward, probably wanted to have separate degrees or something, I'm assuming. And so transfer kind of implies that his experience at Virginia was negative. And maybe it wasn't. I don't know. I'm just making.
I don't think it was. I think
And so it's like I don't want that to be perceived at Virginia. You know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely. Okay, so then we got 84. So this Jordan Ellingwood kid out of Central Michigan upset both Willie Miklas, and this was another Willie. Willie freaking tried a headlock. They're tied, and he tries a headlock with 8 seconds left. Like, damn it, Willie! Come on, man. Oh wow. And then Ellingwood beats former All-American Jack Deckhow in the final, so he had a hell of a tournament.
Yeah.
97.
Jadan
avenged his only loss of the season, which was he did get DQ'd as his only loss of the season.
And it was a very deserving DQ.
Well,
might I say?
Debatable. He's a gentleman. He beats up Phil Wellington 9-1. Blaze Cabell wins at heavyweight. Tommy, you got any closing thoughts? Because we kind of rushed through this. There's so much to talk about, but we both got stuff to do. We're out of time. We didn't even get to the Big 12s. We didn't get to the Big 12.
I thought Oklahoma State. I think they're wrestling very well.
They wrestled great.
I think that they're humming. They're peaking at the right time. We can just go all NCAA hog wild prognosticating next episode because we got a week off. So we'll just dive into that, and we can probably, we can indirectly talk a lot more about these conference championships, implications with seeds, brackets, things of that nature.
Yeah, and we will have the brackets by the next time we do the show. So let's close it out. You get to work. I get to work out. Have a great day, man.
All right, brother. Thanks a lot.
All right, thanks for listening, everybody.
You are listening to the T-Row and Funky Show, brought to you by Defend Soap. Defend what you have built.
Brought to you by All Force Nutrition, a wrestling company with products for wrestlers, by wrestlers. They sponsor a plethora of senior level athletes, including David Taylor, John Rear, Dustin Schlater, Zach Sanders, and their products are delicious. I've had their post-workout. I've had their pre-workout. I'm even getting old, so I'm taking some of the joint pills. Log on to allforcenutrition.com and get some of your products today.